coming in from. I'm getting set up. I am live streaming both on YouTube and my TikTok account. So I've got YouTube on my MacBook Pro, and I've got TikTok on my phone, my iPhone. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from today. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. For people who are working hump day or in a job, happy Wednesday. I'm going to talk, today, and I titled this on TikTok. Where are you on the leadership ladder? And if you don't know, if you have maybe you haven't heard this, what a leadership ladder is, where you are on that ladder, and if you're working online, if you've got a business you're trying to promote, you're with a company that you're trying to promote their products, this will kind of give you a guideline of where you are, and then what I'm going to give you the core blocks for each of them, and then what the growth factor is, the focus that you want to take to correct it so you can get to a different spot. And you could be moving up and down between one or two of these if more, because there's four. And I know I was at an event where John Maxwell was the keynote speaker, and he went over a leadership ladder. They use different terms, and he's got a whole coaching program that I'm sure that the coaches on their program, they go through the same training. So if you ever go and go to one of John Maxwell's events, or you hire someone there, you're going to hear the terms that they use versus this, because I heard that first. Good morning. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I heard that first, and now I just had a training that I was on. Actually, I sat through this twice on two different places because I wanted to learn it. So where are you on the leadership ladder? Or maybe you don't know. So I'm going to go over what these are and the core blocks and the growth focus. I mean, the first one is student. And the income level, the income you would be making a month for that is 0 to 500 a month. And the core block of that is fear of starting. So, I mean, if you're trying to do this and you've been doing this for a while, and you're feeling like you fall into that, your two biggest blocks are going to be execution and belief, that you don't believe this enough, that you can do this, that you can actually make money with it. That's like your key block. And execution, you're probably not executing, or do you have a daily method of operation? Do you have, like I have my must ones that I have to do every day, no matter what. One of those is posting 3 videos a day. I mean, if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I post the same 3 videos. I put them on TikTok first, and then I take them over to my Instagram account. I'm doing both. It doesn't take, it's the same videos. But if you're at that, we're talking about leadership levels. If you're at the student level, that's the first one. You'd be making between $0 and $500 a month. Your core block is fear of starting. And you just haven't gotten yourself enough up that you're starting, you're actually doing it. That's your core block. And your growth focus that you would need is execution and belief. You probably don't believe it enough that you're executing anything and doing it. And if you haven't made any money at all, I know when I first started doing this, I didn't make a dime the first year I started. And really after 5 years, I started making a little bit of money. I mean, it took me 6 years to have my first 4-figure day and 7 to have my first 5-figure month. So you might be stuck in that, but that's it. There's 4 of these. That's the first one. This is a training actually that I went through with my mentor. Actually, I've gone through this twice now. I did do one with John Maxwell, and they use some different terms. He was a keynote speaker at an event I was at. So the first one is starter. You're making anywhere from $0 to $500 a month. You just have the fear of starting to get going, and your growth focus should be execution and belief. And you don't probably believe this enough that you're not doing anything, you're not taking any consistent action. Something that might be helpful to you to listen to if you're stuck there is The Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale. You can go to YouTube and search it. There's a couple of videos, but it's about a 30-minute video. I listened, a friend of mine shared that with me. God, that was over 7 years ago. And I started listening to it every day. I listened to that every day for almost a year. If you're having belief issues and you're not executing or doing anything, that might be a really good thing for you to listen to. because mindset is really 95% of this. Um, and yeah, you got to learn marketing. So that's the first one. The second one is a builder, and you're making anywhere between 500 and 3,000 a month. And your core block on that is just you're not consistent. And most people I talk to in this industry, they're not consistent. Um, and if you're having a problem with consistency, going and finding that video, "The Strangest Secret" by Earl Nightingale, that can help you. But the thing is with people who are inconsistent, you're going to have to dig deeper about why you're doing this. Because if the reason you're doing this isn't so painful to you that it's going to push you to work when you don't feel like it, because people just decide, oh, I'll take the weekend off, or I'm going on vacation for a week. This isn't a 9 to 5 job where you don't have to work nights, weekends, and holidays. Because if you don't show up every day, and I mean, when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week, and you're trying to build a following on social media, nobody will follow you. And there's just so many people, just about everybody I talk to, they're not consistent. They may be posting for a day or two and they stop. I mean, I've been here and I started doing these about almost a month ago, and I've been here every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live streaming here on TikTok and YouTube. Because if you don't show up, and you don't have to live stream, but if you're not posting content, and I found that on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, the 3 is the sweet spot. If you're not putting content out every day, you'll never get anyone to follow you. They'll go find somebody who does show up every day. It's like somebody who has a physical store, and they put in the window their hours are Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. And somebody, say you go and on a Wednesday, if there's something that they have you want to look at and you want to talk to the person about it, and you go and the store is closed, I mean, you'll end up going someplace else. The owner that just didn't feel like opening the store, now if they had some sort of an emergency, but I do find with people that are inconsistent, there's a pattern. I mean, they may post for a couple days and then you don't see them for a week, or it might be a long weekend, the holiday weekend, and they just don't show up over the weekend and Monday. Like, now Labor Day is coming up in the States. And if you're doing that and you're trying to build an audience on social media, it doesn't matter the reason, you'll never get anyone to follow you. I mean, you could have a passion, you're supporting a company, you could have an online or offline business that you're using social media to get exposure. And if you don't show up every single day, I can tell you won't get anybody to follow you. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. And today I'm talking about leadership levels, because when you start doing this, I mean, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. There's 4 different leadership levels that you can fall under. And I was just talking about the student, which you're making about $0 to $500 a month. Your core problem, break, or whatever you want to call it, is fear of starting. The second one is builder. I was just talking about that. 500. You're making about 500 to 3,000 a month. Your core issue is you're not consistent, and that's where I got to talking about being consistent. Because if you're trying to build a social media following and you don't show, when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. You're gonna have to do that for a period of time, and how long that's going to take for you, I don't know. I know my mentor went live every single day for 2 years, and right now she's made $6 million in that time frame in 2.5 years. And I'm pretty sure that by the time December 31st rolls around of this year, she'll probably be at 7 or 8 or more. But she was consistent, showing up every day on live stream. And she's still posting content. You don't have to live stream, but if you're using social media and you're not putting any content out, I do suggest you give away something for free. You send people to a website where you can get their email address and you give them something free. It could be a PDF, it could be an ebook, it could be a webinar training, a free webinar training. If you're promoting somebody else's thing, they may have something that they can give you that you can give away, or you can make your own. It's not that hard. And depending on what you're doing, your niche, if weight loss is your niche, you can make a PDF with 5 things to help you lose weight without starving yourself. And you're giving some people away something for free to get them on your email list. If you're not doing that, you want to send them to a capture page or a website. Mine is payudaily.com. It's just got some images on it, some print, and there's a place there for people to put their email address on. If you're not doing that, you want to be doing that. So That's builder. The biggest issue with people who are, and maybe some people are stuck at that, you're inconsistent, and you need to work on discipline, and creating creative content. I mean, your discipline being that, to show up every single day. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. I'd love to know why you're on social media, where you're coming in from. But those are the two things: discipline and execution, content creation. If you're not doing that and getting, and the discipline is probably going to be the harder thing, because I think a lot of people have problems with that. And if you're trying to do something, it could be, building and following on social media. You could be trying to lose weight. You need discipline. And if you've ever known, I mean, I lost 60 pounds at one point, and I mean, you have to be disciplined about it, that you're going to, and I was just counting calories, that I was going to stay within a certain limit of calories every day. And I actually wrote down what I wrote in the calories to keep track of it. I mean, it took me a little over a year, but I lost 60 pounds doing that. It does take discipline. So that's the second one. If you're coming on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. I'm do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. This morning I was talking about the leadership ladder, and where you might be on the leadership ladder, and going over, there's 4 different levels you could be at. Went to an event that John Maxwell was the keynote speaker, and he was talking about this, and they use different terms. I mean, I'm used to that because I've heard that before, but this is new to me. She's got some different terms. I think this is easier to understand. So just to recap, the student one, you're at $0 to $500 a month, and your core issue is you have fear of starting. So you probably haven't done enough or started at all. And your 2 things that you need to really focus on are execution and belief. The second one is builder, 500 to 300K. And the issue with that is being inconsistent, and most people are not consistent. If you're trying to get people to follow you or build an audience on social media, if you're not consistent, you'll never get anyone to follow you. And that's discipline and clear content creation, that you're getting your message out. And the other day I was talking about setting up your social media profile. You want to set up a profile and optimize it, so when people come to your profile, they know what you're about, why you're there. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. So the next one, and depending on, because I meet people, I've met thousands and thousands of people doing this. Depending on why you're doing this, and if you're looking to make extra money, how much money you want to make. Most people that come, I call it the 70-20-10 rule. 70% of people that come into this industry want to make $0 to $500. So the student level is perfect for you. And then 20% want to make $1,000 to $3,000 a month, and that's the builder level. And then the next level I was going to talk about was, and then 10% of people want to make over $10,000, and that's the leadership level. Well, that's between builder and leader. It's $3,000 to $10,000 a month at the leadership level. And the core issue with that is you're playing small. You may have heard people say that, I'm playing small. And what you need to really work on is bold messaging and conversion, to get what you stand for. I mean, I got into this industry after I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. I was drowning in $250,000 of debt. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. I couldn't find a job. People were getting 1,500 resumes for one position. And I couldn't find another job. I was broke, unemployed, and in foreclosure. And if I hadn't found this industry, because finding a job was like, they were making you fill out just not the application, but you had to take a personality test. And then they had somebody on their end going through all that, just not your resume and the application, but the different tests they would give you, and they were sorting people out. And I got like three interviews over a year, and I never had problems getting a job. So this industry, and I went to Google, I searched make money online. I bought a website. The training was a 3-page PDF. I did not have a mentor. They were teaching me how to set up pay-per-click ads. I had no idea what I was doing, sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do. Nothing converted. I spent $3,000 on pay-per-click ads. And after a year of doing that, I knew I needed to find somebody to get around somebody that had done what I wanted to do, because success leaves clues. And you can't, if you don't, I didn't have a mentor and I didn't have a proven system. And that was two of the big reasons why I didn't make any money. If I had a mentor could have said to me, "Well, you're sending traffic to a replicated website." I mean, you never want to do that. You don't want to send traffic to a replicated website or a sales page. The issue with that is you only have one chance to talk to the person, and then they're gone. You want to send them to a website or a landing page and get their email address. And if you don't, if you're trying this too, and going over these leadership levels, you don't have a proven system and you don't have a mentor, you're probably going to have a hard time trying to figure this out. I mean, I didn't intentionally do that because I didn't know, but after a year, I knew I needed to get around somebody. I didn't have a mentor and I didn't have a proven system. Therefore, I didn't make any money. So you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'm going over the different leadership levels, and it's called a leadership ladder. There's four of them. Where you fall on this, and I've been actually on two trainings of this over the last I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and I was at an event. John Maxwell did the keynote. He was talking about leadership levels, and I think this is a little different than if you work for a company. I spent years in management, and you really can't manage people the way you want or your management style, because most likely, I know I had this issue, there were the company's policies that certain things they didn't want you to do. And so for me, I could never really lead people like I wanted to in a job. And I think most people, if you're working a job and you're in management, you really can't do what you want to do, because if you may do something that your boss or somebody doesn't like, or they don't want you doing. And the guy I was reporting to, he didn't really like me, so that didn't help. But I think those are leadership levels too, but I think it's a little different because you can't, unless you have somebody or a company that's really like they let you do what you want, but that's really unusual. Most of them have policies in place and they want you to follow their rules. I mean, I used to, like on a Friday, I get pizza and have it delivered and take everybody. We just go and get a conference room and just to hang out and chill out, eat pizza, not, take a break for like an hour or so. And they didn't really like me doing that. And I was paying for that out of my own pocket. So in a situation like that, you can't really lead people like you want to. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I'm talking today about the leadership ladder, and you may have gone through some. I know I did some trainings and went to some summits and stuff like that when I was working a job, and they do this kind of thing. But I do think it's different when you work for a company. If you are in management, if you jumping on, if you'd like my video, I'd really appreciate it, whether you're on my TikTok account or YouTube. It really helped my channel out. I appreciate people jumping on. Let me know where you're coming in from. Why are you on social media? I'm talking about the leadership ladder, and I went through this training twice because I wanted to see where I was on this leadership ladder. So I talked about the student, the builder, the student. You're making $0 to $500 a month. And you have a fear of starting. That's your block that you need to work on and try to break through on that. And you need execution and belief, because you don't believe it enough that you're not executing on anything. And a great thing, if you're stuck and you're having mindset issues, if you go over to YouTube and you search "The Strangest Secret" by Earl Nightingale, that's a great thing to listen to. A friend of mine shared that with me like over 7 years ago. I started listening to that every day. It's about a 30-minute video. If I was fixing dinner or doing laundry or something, I would listen to that. You could just pull YouTube up on your phone and listen to it. Or if you're in your car driving, I used to listen to stuff when I still working a job in my car. But your issues are execution and belief. And a lot of people that come into this industry, they don't really believe that they can do this, so they don't do anything. And if you don't do anything, well, you're not going to learn anything and you're not going to make any money. Execution is key, and money loves success. Success loves speed. So if you're and that's the student ladder. You've got a fear of starting, and you need to work on your execution and belief. And actually, I tell everybody that's doing this, you need to work on your belief, because most people I talk to, they don't, there's plenty of people out there doing this. They're online every day. They show up. They're making money. It does work. That you really believe that you can do this. And actually, I've seen people when they've made their first commission, they made some money. That what that does for their belief, because you can be looking and saying, well, it's easy for so and so or whatever, and actually it's not. But your execution and belief is important. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing. I do making money from home. I teach other people how to do the same thing. It'll be 14 years in September that I've been doing this. So there's a lot of things I know. I don't know everything. But if you have a question or you're trying to figure something out, if you have a question, drop in the comments. If you're trying to figure something out and I've done it, I'd be glad to do a training on one of these. Somebody asked me to do one. Actually, that was last week, on social media marketing. If it's something I've done, because I don't think you can teach and train on something you haven't done. If I've done it, I've made money with it, be glad to do a training. If I haven't, I probably can give you a resource. Because if you're trying to figure something out and you're trying to figure it out on your own, there's plenty of places that you can go to get some help. And if you're trying to learn something new, you need the mindset. You're going to have to invest some time and money in learning it. And I know when I first got into the online, I didn't know anybody, and I literally went to Google and searched "make money online," and I bought a website. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know this industry existed. Okay, is it Steph? I need help, please. I tried on my own, but I need help putting it all together. Okay, so Steph, you want to go to payudaily.com. There's a website. You put your email address in. You'll get an email from me, and I suggest watch the video, read the page, an email from me with a free PDF. You can download that and save it onto your computer. You can, if you want to work off the PDF, you can do that. But take a look at the videos from my mentor. There's actually 2 videos. Watch the videos, look at the page, because if you don't have a proven system and you don't have a mentor, I don't think I've met anybody that's come in here just brand new and started on their own. You need both of those things. And I can tell you from my own experience, the first year I did this, I didn't have a proven system. I didn't have a mentor. I went to Google. I searched "make money online." I bought a website that was teaching me. There was a 3-page PDF with the website, how to set up pay-per-click ads, which I did, and I spent $3,000. Didn't make any money. I didn't have a mentor, and I didn't have a system. So go to payudaily.com, watch the videos, my email, download the PDF, and you can make a decision, because you need both of those things. You need a proven system and a mentor. And if you didn't have any of those, it's really pretty hard to try to do this on your own. And I couldn't have done that. And that's why the first year I did this, I didn't make any money, because you can't. If you get the right training, now I can't make any guarantees, but if you're coachable and you're consistent, you take the training, go through it, and implement it. And how long it takes for anybody, I don't know. But you could. And if you've been trying, then you probably haven't made any money, because you wouldn't be popping up here. But it's really simple. I think people try to overthink and overcomplicate it. So payudaily.com. Good morning. If anybody else is jumping on, it looks like John, Gabriella, where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I've been doing this. It'll be 14 years in September. I haven't worked a job in 9. I do online marketing and making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I found this industry after I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. I was broke, unemployed, and in foreclosure. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. Found myself drowning in $250,000 of debt. I couldn't find a job. The job market at that time, it was awful. It was so bad. People were getting 1,500 resumes for one job. So if your resume or application even made it out of the stack, it was amazing. Good morning, Nina. Good morning, Cryptid Gaming. I imagine people don't call you that. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. Good morning. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. I was talking today about the leadership ladder and the levels on it. You may have heard of it, you may not have. Some people in corporate America, they do have trainings where they go through this, and they use some different terms. I'm not the one. The two trainings I've gone through with my mentor, the terms weren't the same, but the idea is still the same. The leadership ladder we're using here is the first one, student, and your income, you're making $0 to $500 a month, and your core block is you have a fear of starting. Um, and you need to work on your execution and belief, because if you don't believe it, if you don't believe this works, if you don't believe that you can make money, if you don't believe you can help anybody with if you don't believe you have something that you could help somebody else, I've seen what this industry can do, not just for me, because there's other people. It can change your life, but it's the people who show up. They're coachable, they're consistent. And when I say show up every day, I mean 7 days a week. If you're trying to build an audience on social media and you're not consistent, you don't show up every day, you'll never get anybody to follow you. It'd be really hard to follow you. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. If you're jumping on, I really appreciate it if you'd like this video. It helps out my account both on TikTok and YouTube. Let's see. Follow me and like this video. Thank you very much. Follow me and like this video. Okay, so actually, I'm just messing around with this. Can't get this where I want. Okay, so if you're on social media and you're not consistent, you'll never get anybody to follow you. That people want to know you're going to show up every day, and when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning. Is it? I don't know if it's Debbie. I'm having trouble saying that. It's not clear. Good morning, Joyce. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. Been talking today about leadership levels, and there's 4 of them. And I just went through a training about leadership, and there's 4 leadership levels. Now, if you've ever gone through any of John Maxwell's trainings, they use different terms. I've gone through his too, and the terms aren't the same. I believe the first one that they start with is position. And here, this ladder that I'm doing, there's four ladders, 4 steps. The first one is student. If you're new, you're probably in that. Your income is between $0 and $500 a month, and your biggest block you're going to have is your fear of starting. You need to work on execution and belief. Because if you buy a course or you join a program or something and you're not going through the training and you're not executing or implementing anything, you're not gonna be able to build a social media following or an email list. People aren't, if you're not showing up every day, they're not gonna follow you. They'll go find somebody else who does. And when I say show up every day, I mean 7 days a week. And most people I talk to, they struggle with being consistent. I can go to somebody's account and I can tell automatically if I look at their videos and when they're posting. I mean, I post 3 videos a day on TikTok and I post 3 videos a day on Instagram. And that's 7 days a week. Those are like my non-negotiables that I have to do every day. If you're not showing up, it gets really hard to get anybody to follow you. They'll go find somebody else who does show up. It's like a person that has a physical store. If they have in their window, they're open, Monday to Saturday, and they're open 10 to 6. And then people go, like on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock and nobody's there. I mean, yeah, you may have something come up that you can't go. But if you just don't feel like it and you decide not to open the store, you don't have anybody that can cover for you. Um, Somebody's going to, if they come to your store on that Wednesday and you didn't show up, they're going to come, you're not there, and they're probably going to go find somebody else. So it's the same thing on social media. Somebody, sees you doing a video or something and they decide to follow you, and then they're looking for you and you don't show up every day, and a couple of days go by, you haven't posted anything, because we're all using social media for free. I've generated tens of thousands of leads on social media for free. And there's working outside today. I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like there's a thing parked over on the side of or where we live. So anyway, if you're not showing up every day, it gets really hard to get anybody to follow you. And that's what just about everybody I talk to, they're not consistent. They'll just go find somebody else. And this is a 7-day a week thing. It's not a job. And even on holidays and the weekends, I'm still posting videos on my non-negotiable, and I committed to going live every day, for, I don't know, at least I've been doing it for a month. I'm going to be doing this for longer, but I'm committed to be here. I've been here, coming on live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're not consistent, you'll never get anybody to follow you. So that's the first level. That's the student level. Second level is the builder, and a builder will be making anywhere between $500 and $3,000 a month. And again, the core block of the issue on this is you're inconsistent. Yeah, you've been making some money, but you don't show up every day. So it gets really hard to get following on social media. You're building a following on social media and sending people to an automated, proven system. If you don't have that, you really want to make sure that you do, because the issue with somebody just coming to a video of yours or a website that they're not capturing their email address, you only have one chance to talk to them, and then they're gone. So that's why you don't want to send people to a sales page or a replicated website, because they're gone. And then you'll probably never have an opportunity to talk to them again. I do get sales on first touch, but most people are going to have to visit something multiple times before they make a buying decision. So the student is I'm going to go through these real quick, because unless somebody has a question, I'm probably going to get off in a few minutes. So the first one, student, it's $0 to $500 a month is the income you're making. The core issue, the problem is you have a fear of starting. So you need to work on execution and belief. If you don't believe this, you're probably not going to do anything to get, create content, to get out there, execution. So that's the student. The second one is the builder. It's 500. You're making about 500 to 3,000 a month. And you're inconsistent. I've been talking about that. You got to show up every day, and that's 7 days a week. You won't get anybody to follow you, and you need discipline, and you need to be creating content that's clear, and putting the content out there every single day. Now, the third one is a leader. You're making anywhere between 3,000 and 10,000 a month, and the core issue, you're playing small. You need bold messaging and conversion. And I hear that so much about people. I've been playing small, that you're not being bold enough with your messaging and your conversions to get people to follow you. And I've been talking about that, being consistent. That's if you're just starting out, or you've been doing this for a while and you're not making any money, you're probably not consistent. When I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. You probably gonna have to give up some nights, weekends, and holidays. This isn't a job, but the consistency is really important. So that's the third leadership level. The fourth one is CEO. And as a CEO, you're making anywhere between 10 and 100K. And the issue with that, with the CEO, you're doing everything. You need to start to delegate and get systems in place, because you can't do it all. If anybody's got a huge company, like Steve Jobs started Apple in his garage with $1,500. It was just him. The massive staff now, and Steve Jobs is gone, that Apple has to keep running, to keep, servicing customers, running their stores, and all that is they have staff and systems and execution and delegation, because you can't do this all by yourself. You need systems and delegation. So those are the four leadership levels. If anybody wants to drop where you think you are on this, be curious. I just went through 2 trainings of this. My mentor did. I did go through one a number of years ago that John Maxwell did, and they don't use the same terms that this one does. They start with not student but position, so it's a little different, but that main idea and the concept is the same. So if anybody has any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer your questions. If you're having an issue with something, you want to learn something, I'd be glad to do a training on these. If it's something I've done, because I don't think you can train and teach on something you haven't done. I don't think it's ethical. If I haven't done it, I can probably give you some resources. There's a lot of things I know. I don't know everything. I've been doing this for a long time. It'll be 14 years next month I've been doing this. So if there's something that you're trying to figure out, if you're not on here or you get off, people can send an email to me at lindabomba@payudaily.com, or jump on one of these. I am here every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Been doing between 30 minutes and an hour, depending on who comes on and what's going on. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments. We'd love to know where you're coming in from. Why are you on social media? I would assume that if you're on social media, you're doing something, although I did have a guy come on and say he was bored and he just was getting on TikTok. If you've got some other reason, or maybe you are bored and you're looking for something to do, that's not why I'm on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Drop something in the comments you like. I love going to the movies. There's nothing like seeing a movie on the big screen. In fact, I went on Sunday, we went out to the movies. We saw Sorry Baby. It's a good movie. So drop me a comment. If you got any questions, I'm probably going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. Drop them in the comments. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you've got a training, and I did one the other day. Somebody asked me to do one on social media marketing. I can do that. I did another one on email marketing, because if you're using social media, email marketing is a piece of it. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Mark. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing and making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're on social media, you're promoting, you got a cause you're supporting, you have an online or offline business, and you're using social media. It's still the same things to learn how to use the platforms, because there's billions and billions of people on social media every single day. You can get in front of a ton of people doing this and doesn't matter what platform you're on, they all work. If you're new, I do suggest you pick one, pick something you like, because otherwise you won't stick to it, and then do it till you master it. Once you get good at the one platform and you're getting some consistent leads and sales from that platform, then move on to another one. And I'm on multiple platforms. I've done this. I'm live streaming on TikTok and YouTube. I've been doing this for a long time. And I've got traction on a number of different ones. And I would live stream on Instagram too, but Instagram won't let me. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know why you're on social media. Drop me a comment if you got a question, and I can answer it. I'd be glad to. If I can't answer it, I'll give you a resource. If you're jumping on, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it. I see hearts popping up, but I don't know who it is. Thank you. Is it Melissa? If I didn't pronounce your name correctly, I apologize. Good morning, Betty. Good morning. Is it Irene? Good morning. I think it's Crypto Gamer, but people probably call you something else, and that's just your thing. Good morning, Melissa. Thanks for jumping on. If you have a question, today I was talking about, I was going through the leadership ladder and the different levels on the ladder. I just went through actually 2 trainings with my mentor. I did go through a training with John Maxwell. He was a keynote speaker at an event I went. Thank you so much, Melissa. I really appreciate that. They do it a little bit. They call it different things. Like the one I have, the first one is student, and they're training. And John Maxwell has so much training and he's got coaching and all that. They use the first one is called position. They don't use the same. They're not identifying the same as this because the one my mentor taught me is student, builder, leader, CEO. A builder, you're making between 0 and 500 a month. The builder, you're making 500 to 3,000 a month. A leader, you're making 3K to 10K, and a CEO, you're making 10K to 100K. She went over, if you're stuck at one or you want to get to another one, what the core issue is. What if you're stuck there? Why? Like a student, you have a fear of starting. You need to work on execution and belief because you probably don't believe this enough that you're taking implementing what you're learning. You may be watching training videos or getting on Zooms, and yeah, you need to get trained. But if you're not executing what you learned, you're not going to be building an audience on social media and email lists, getting people to follow you. And live streams are one thing you could do. I know a lot of people don't want to show their face. They don't want to do videos. You could do faceless marketing, and now we have AI. Actually, I just bought a course that I've been going through, and all the content I've been creating now for like the last 6 weeks. I've been using AI to create it because if you don't want to get on camera, those are two ways. If you don't want them, and you don't have to go live. I've heard my mentor suggest that too. But live stream is kind of up a notch. I mean, video is very powerful because people can see and hear you, but live stream, it kind of takes it up a notch because you're live with people. You can talk to them. They can, comment back and converse with you in real time while you're still the live. And of course, my lives get recorded and then YouTube uploads them. People can come watch them at another time. But when it's actually live, it's even more powerful. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that. And if you don't want to get on camera and do any videos, because I have so many people tell me that, you can do faceless marketing, or you could learn how to use AI. And I did take a course that I got in June that I've been going through it and taking. In this particular course that I got, it shows you two different kinds of videos that you can make. And there's like 6 softwares. I'm only using 4, and I'm probably go back in another time and learn the other 2. I did get gifted another AI course that if I do get some time, I'll go through that. But I'm still going through and implementing what I'm learning in the course I took. But you don't have to. The one thing about being live and the one thing about doing your own videos is, you want to create a connection with people. And as my mentor says, connection equals currency. And tell your story. I got into this after I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. I found myself drowning in $150,000 of debt. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was broke, unemployed, and in foreclosure. I couldn't find a job. And if I didn't find this industry, I'd probably be homeless. And there's a lot of people that have come into this that when they started, they were homeless. I have somebody I've been talking to, and I haven't talked to her in a long time. She was living out of her car. And I think she was trying to see if she could work around and find some like housing, like renting a room or something like that. And I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I can't imagine that being homeless, that you're living in your car. And when you have to go to the bathroom, you got to go to some place like Mickey D's to use the toilet. And she had her cat with her. So that's 2 mouths to feed living in. And where I live in the winter, it's hot. And now we've had some really hot days living in your car. And I know she said at one point her heat wasn't working the way it should. But to be in that situation, I'd be doing whatever I could to get out of that situation. That is true. Pain pushes humans, pushes us away from whatever it is. We'll move more towards pleasure and away from pain. That's so true. And I know that's been 100% true for me. Dr. Michael Beckwith said, pain will push you until your vision pulls you. And that's been 100% for me. My pain has changed over time. When I got in this industry, I was so broke at one point. I was cutting mold out of food because I didn't have any money to buy food, hoping I wouldn't get sick. I pissed everybody off. And I'm grateful I'm not in that situation anymore. And now I'm dealing with 2 cancer diagnoses. I'm fine right now. I don't want to burden anyone. I want to be able to stay in my house and having the money to whatever I need. Because if you've ever, and you probably can relate, how many times have you, or do you say no to something because you don't have the money? I mean, I know totally what that's like. I've been broke. I know what that's like, where you checking the pockets on your jeans to see maybe if you would find some money, or looking in the cushions on your sofa for change. I've been that broke. I know what that's like. And frankly, it sucks. And I'm so grateful I'm not in that situation anymore. But pain will push you until your vision pulls you. Thank you, Melissa, for liking the live. I really appreciate that. Um, so humans, we do tend to move away from pain. So it's going over these 4 leadership levels: student, builder, leader, CEO. If you're doing this, which one do you think you're in? Student, you're making $0 to $500 a month. Builder, 500 to 3,000 a month. Leader, 3,000 to 10,000, and CEO, 10,000 to 100,000 a month. If you're doing this, where are you on the leadership level? I thought the way my mentor broke this down, because not that John Maxwell doesn't have good stuff, he does, but he was explaining it a little differently. Same basic idea, but using different terms. And I think these terms are more relatable. They use, the first one's position. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. I'm on my phone on TikTok, and I'm on my laptop Pro on my YouTube channel. I'm streaming two places at once because of the technology. I have software that lets me stream. It's one live stream and going in multiple places. And with all the technology we have in AI, that's why I got the AI, because I wanted to learn it. I mean, I think a lot of people are afraid of it. You can ignore it or you can embrace it. It's not going away. And it's not that AI will replace you. It's that the person that learns how to use AI will replace you. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning. Oh, I'm not even going to try that. Good morning, P. What do people call you? Yeah, I don't think it's going away. And if you really kind of look around, it's coming up everywhere. If you go to Google and search now, that first thing, the very top of the search results, that's AI. And even Meta, if you're on Facebook, if you go into your Messenger, there's a thing at the top about asking Meta. So, I mean, everybody's using AI. I mean, I follow the guy that's the head of Instagram on my Instagram account. If you message him, it's AI. It's not. I mean, it might sound a little like him, but it's not. It's AI. It's a bot, and a lot of people are using that. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Lou. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I mean, today I'm talking about, I do online marketing and making money from home, and teach other people how to do the same thing. Talking about leadership leadership levels. Most companies use this too. And I've done some training with John Maxwell, so does he. But the way that my mentor put this together, I thought it was really brilliant. It was a lot harder. You can go through the ladder and see where you're at. And then she's giving what your block is, your core block is, and then what you need to work on to fix it. And I thought this, not that John Maxwell has great stuff, and he was a keynote speaker at an event that I went. He was also talking about how he taught his children to go do something every day to help somebody else. And he said his grandson called him and said, I held 49 doors today. Because a lot of people, I mean, we could use that in this world. If everybody went out and found one person that you could help every day, I think the world would be a better place. But sometimes some of the stuff going on in the world today, they're not very nice. And whoever said, if you don't have anything nice to say, it's better not to say anything at all. I don't know who said that, but that is so true, because you hear people say things, and I wonder if they really think about what they're saying, and how hurtful that could be to somebody else. Good morning, Lisa. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. If there's something you're trying to figure out, I can try to help you. If I've done it, and I'd be glad to do a training. I don't think it's ethical to teach or train on something that you haven't done, but I could probably give you a resource. I did have somebody on YouTube on one of my lives last week. He wanted to know about CPA marketing. I mean, I know what it is. I've got an idea how it works, but I've never done it or made money with it, so I don't think it's ethical that I can teach on it. I did give him a couple of resources, because if he's really serious and he wants to learn that, he could get a course, go through the course, and the course would teach him, if he went and implemented it, what he needs to get going. Because it's always, I mean, if you're trying to learn something, you're always going to have to invest time and money into it. And there's some free stuff, but I do think free is the most expensive choice of it all. And I have a free PDF with the blueprint we use. You can go to payudaily.com, put your email address in, that's free. It's in an email you'll get from me. You can download it and save it to your computer. But I think it's really hard to try to do this. There was somebody else that was on TikTok earlier saying she had been trying to do this and nothing was happening. And I said, okay, well, if you don't have a proven system and you don't have a mentor, it's pretty hard. And I sent her to my website. She can get the PDF and take a look at. There's 2 videos there, what we're doing, because you can't do this by yourself. You can try, and anybody can take my free PDF and you can go through it. It is an outline of the blueprint we're using. It's a 2-hour workday. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be spending hours and hours online doing this. And I know when I worked a job, I worked a lot of hours. And there were times I had to travel for that job. When we went out of town, I would literally be going for about 11 or 12 days straight without a day off. And it's really tiring because the meetings we had were always over a weekend. They ended on Sunday. I mean, the last session was like at noon. So you're in someplace, another city, finishing, cleaning up, leaving, flying home. Sometimes, you don't get home. I wouldn't get home till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, and then having to get back up and go into work the next day. And it's a lot of days. I mean, I think everybody needs a day off, and anybody that's gone through medical school, they do. I know that because I worked in healthcare for a long time. They have 16-hour days at times when they're doing their residency. They could work, a week or longer without having a day off. And I think everybody needs a day off just to kind of unwind and set yourself up and just take a break. But yeah, I don't. And I had a 2 to 3 hour, the job that I lost, I had a 2 to 3 hour commute every day. And I don't miss that at all. And my commute now is I'm downstairs, I'm going up a flight of stairs, upstairs and this is my office where my office is. That's my commute every day. And that beats a 2 to 3 hour commute. And if there was anything else going on, if it was bad weather, it would take longer. I know one night we were getting a little bit of snow. I left at 4. I didn't get home till after 7. And all that driving, it takes your toll. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to end here. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for getting on. See you tomorrow.